Hello Flosstube friends, I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with a laughing face, and this is Flosstube number 44. Thanks so much for stopping by to see what I've been up to for the past couple of weeks. I'm so happy that you're here. I know how many amazing Flosstubers are out there. I'm behind on watching mine as well. But there's so many people out there who share such great stuff, and the fact that you will spend time with me and see what I'm up to really means everything. So I thank you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're here. So whether you're new or you're old, I hope you have a beverage in your drinking vessel appropriate to whatever time of day it is. If it's coffee or tea or hot cider with vodka at this time of year. It's one of my favorite fall things. And, or, you know, whatever is the right thing for you. And you've got your stitching, and we're going to sit and chat like some old stitchy friends. So thanks for being here. So it has been almost a whole month. Today is the 27th. I think it's the 27th. It's the Saturday, the last Saturday of September. And I filmed on September 1st on Labor Day, right before school started. And school started. So it's been a really good start to the school year. My rooms came together nicely. It took a while. Especially my classroom it was like into the second week before I said it was done, because when you move a house, it's the same thing. It's like, where do I want to put this? Where do I want to hang that? And figuring everything out. So everything is where it's supposed to be. The bookcases came in, the maintenance guys put them together. I made cookies because it was a lot of work. We moved everything over. So everything is like, it came together. So I'm very, very pleased. Got a lot of great feedback from parents on our parent night. I made a little video and I put up my Instagram, which is the same name, Stitcher with the Laughing Face. So if you would like to see my two libraries in my ELA room, which is a coffee book theme ELA room, head on over to my Instagram and take a look at the video, just a couple minutes. I did it partly because my kids wanted to see the library, and I was like, I can't send you the video because it's too long to like send it in a text. So I posted it on Instagram. So, but it's good. Everything's good. And then my 8th graders, I love them. They're a great group of kids. We're going to have a wonderful year. So everything's just been going well there. Oh, I was like, is that something on top of my head? No, it's whatever's behind me. It's tiring though, like getting back into the swing of things. Yeah. So I would come home, especially after club started, because when club starts, then we go to 4 o'clock every day. And by the time you get home, it's 5. And I was like, oh, I'll do my Flosstube. And then I was like, I'm just going to wait for the weekend. So I'm not feeling rushed because I got to make dinner too and whatever else in the evening. And so here we are. Hopefully I'll be back again in 2 weeks now that things have calmed down a little bit, and I hope to have a lot of good spooky stitchy stuff to show off. So Brooke and Vince and Max and Abby. Max starts class tomorrow. He's getting his master's online from Berklee School of Music. Abby is getting her master's from Columbia, and she has some really cool classes. She's getting her degree in counseling. So she has like the Matrix of Motherhood. I was like, go watch that Unknown Caller show, because that's some crazy Matrix of Motherhood right there. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. And then Brooke is in her 2nd year of animation. She loves it. It's a lot of work. She's always drawing, but, and we never get to see much of what she does, but she likes it. They've got a lot of cool things that they do together too. Like the department is really tight. So that's pretty cool. And Vince has started at one of our local community colleges. And so we hope that he's kind of getting settled in and adjusted to college life. They're both living at home, but college is definitely different from high school. So hopefully everything is good. So it's all good. It's all just plugging along, doing what we can to, focus on each other and that kind of thing. So, all right, let's get to the good stitchy stuff then. I hope you guys have been good for the past month and getting into the fall moods and Halloween. I'm decorating for Halloween this weekend. As soon as I'm done with this video, it's like edited and posted and uploading, I will be stripping the sunflowers. And thank you, everybody. I've had a couple of sweet comments about how cute the sunflower tree is. So that's just sunflowers. I pulled off a stem and stuck them in there. And the garland is just a string of pom-poms that I've had forever because I had it for bees. I used used it for bee stuff before. So, but that will be all Halloweeny the next time I see you, and orange lights everywhere. So, and yeah, 3 classrooms to decorate. That should be it. Thankfully, I have minions. We have a student advisory club, and I have my 8th graders too. So I'll be like, who wants to help me decorate? And everybody's like, me, me, me. So that'll be fun too. So alrighty. So let's get to the stitchy stuff. So if you've been watching, you know that for 2025, I've been doing a little sal I came up with called Little Something Sal. And it was an idea to keep myself motivated to not just pick up the newest festive thing that was out, whatever holiday thing, which is fine. And I did that in 2024, but then it didn't leave myself time to work on other things that I had started that maybe weren't seasonal. Or I started so many things in October last year, there was no way I would get them done just working on them this September and October, because I started like 5 big things. So I wanted a way to keep me motivated on working on the WIPs, but still have the flexibility to start new things and pick up whatever WIP I wanted, you know, and not really have it be like, this month is this and you must stick to it. So the Little Something Sal worked really well. And I'm already kind of percolating in the back of my brain what to do for 26. So I need a new rhyme and I need to think about what do I want to focus on. So we'll see how many WIPs I had 29 at the end of 24. I have no idea where that is. I know I finished some of those WIPs, and there's some that I haven't even touched again this year because I started too many things. And then I started things and now they're WIPs too. So we'll see. But I would like to be closer to 20 than 30. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so the way that it works is that each week is a different part of the rhyme. So something old, something new, something festive, something boo. So for the first week of September, yes, I knew it was spooky September and I couldn't wait, but being that it was the first week back to school, I wanted to take the opportunity to work on one of those WIPs that, you know, I started it last year and then never picked it up again. This is Emily Call's Love and Learning, and I just love this piece. It's so pretty. I just love it. So, and last year when I picked it up, I had done about the first page, which is over in the right, that's the left-hand corner. And I've done about the first page. So there's 4 pages in like the little slivers on the side. So there's like 5 pages to this piece. So I finished the first page, and I don't iron until they're done because 1, I'm lazy, and 2, I don't want to put a lot of ironing on the stitches. So this is on 28 count parchment. Beautiful piece of fabric to work from. I'm not sure who it is. I think I still have the tag somewhere. It might be, I don't know. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know. But, so I finished the first page. I do have to go back and fix the Y because look, I did it in 2 different colors. I don't know how I managed to pull that one off. So I circled it on the patterns when I go back. Got more of the tree done over into the second page, and that is the beginning of the roof. So I'm very excited to have reached where I could start on the house so that, you know, I can cut a length of floss for the house and do that, and then like go do some flowers or whatever it is. So that was what I worked on the first week. And of course the first week I was still bringing home decorations for my bulletin board that had to be cut out, or that had been cut out and laminated and had to be cut out again. So I did that for a while. And now that it's almost October, now all the cool Halloween bulletin boards are coming out, and I'm like, I must have it. I have this problem with schoolgirl style, so any of my teacher friends out there, I love her stuff. Like, she used to be a teacher. I don't think she has to because she has people like me who buy her stuff. And she comes out, it's like $12 for a digital packet that has like, sorry, I'm reaching over, bulletin board stuff and posters and slides if you're going to do morning slides and just a ton of stuff. And because it's digital, you can print as much of it as you want. So if you wanted to do an entire bulletin board or make, you know, a ghost for every kid in your class, you can, because it's all digital. So I have a little bit of a problem with her because because I just bought the new Halloween one because it's Spooktacular Readers and it's little ghosts with books. So, yeah. Sorry. It's a problem. I know there's some other reading friends out there who watch who I'm sure you can commiserate. So, all right. Okay. Sorry. I keep trying to like talk and put the stuff away. So I'll try to be better about not showing you the top of my head. All right. So I worked on that for the first week. Now I do have another old that doesn't quite fit into one of the other weeks that I worked on. This is Dream Big from Tiny Modernist. That is my car stitch. So when we are driving to go disc golfing or mountain biking or doing something like that, this goes along with me because I'm doing it on 14 count blue iridescent Ada. So it's sparkly because I'm like, this pattern deserves to have some sparkle to it. But when I saw it in August, no, it came out in July. I was like, I have to have that because it goes with, it's got books with flowers and stuff coming out of it. And we're doing like a forest theme this year. So this is what I have done on it so far. And so here, I'll hold that back up again. So I feel really good about the top section with the flowers. And there is quite a bit of back stitching to outline like the mushrooms and that kind of thing. So what I'll do, here, I'll do it this way now. What I'll do is, you know, work on some of the back stitching and then go back and do a book at the bottom. So kind of go back and forth. But now I have almost the whole first book done. And most of the side is done over here. Oops. Sorry. I'm feeling a bit rusty, I guess. Discombobulated. So I have like this part of the flowers to do over here. But I love everything Tiny Modernist does. I just looked at something else and I was like, oh, that's really tempting. It was a cute little Halloween piece. She also did the hedgehog and the bell jar. And like I said, I'm doing a forest theme. So I'm like, oh, I might have to do, I have hedgehogs, a couple cute little stuffed ones around the library. The 7th grade boys can stop playing with them. That would be great. 7th grade boys. So I'm like, oh, that's tempting. But that might have to be a winter, like January, February stitch. So, and also it's like, I'm only really doing the forest theme for 1 year, so I don't need to go that crazy, but why not? So, all right, so those are my two olds. And I don't know how much more disc golfing and mountain biking we'll be doing. I mean, we can go into October and November, but the book is definitely something I want in my classroom sooner rather than later. So maybe that I'll make that like Thursday night football stitching or something. All right, so the second week of the month is something new. And so in August, I had gone through my giant stack of magazines because I had cross-stitch and needlework forever. I started the subscription, I think, when I was like 14. And you can imagine how many I had. But I've gone through at certain times and, you know, when we moved or whatever, and weeded out things that I knew I was never going to stitch if they were in there. And then I still have magazines that are marked with what I do want to stitch. So this one has pumpkin patch quilts. And I picked this one out. So last month I went through and looked through a whole stack of them and like, oh, what do I have that I could start? I was inspired by enabled by Java Girl Stitches, Chrissy, because she is doing the Which Witch Will You Stitch with her friend Anna. And I was like, oh, that'll be really, really fun because there are a million witches I would like to stitch. But I love this. I've always loved this one. And this is from the 2010 September edition. So it's from Gail Bussi. If you had these magazines, you know she was in there all the time. She or her mom, or sometimes they were both in one magazine, but they did a lot of stuff for a cross stitch magazine. So I used a piece of fabric that I dyed in April. I was trying to go for like a chalkboard thing. It came out too modeled for what I had originally intended it to be. That's a weird shadow right there. There's not, just like the fold. That's funky. But perfect for Halloween. Like, look how awesome that's going to be. Plus, I thought the house looked a little ghosty on the other fabric. So this is what I have done so far. Oh, it is a piece of thread. Wow, that's funny because it blended right into the fabric. That is not going to be a problem though, because that thread that's there is going to be outlined by other things. So you will see it when it's outlined, and it's like the house is basically full coverage within the house. I did mess up in here. I'm off by 2 rows in the window, and I was like, fudging. I'm not pulling all of that out. But I got a couple nights work done on that. So this is going to be super fun. And I love all the colors in it. It's very cool. So that was a new piece that I planned to start. And then I had one that I didn't plan to start. That was just one of those, like, I'm going to go home and kit up some happy because I had kind of a rotten day at work. It wasn't like the whole day was bad, but it was one of those things where something just got under my skin and then wouldn't let go. So we have after school clubs, and from 3 to 4, we offer different, like the teachers offer different kinds at movie club and study hall and whatever. Well, we kind of have a shortage of clubs this time around. So I had offered a crafting club for 4th through 8th graders. So I could do cross stitching. I can teach them how to knit. We can do other things like being a crafty people like yourself, you probably get the same thing. People will just give you stuff, like they're weeding out their craft room, or, you know, someone they know, it's their stuff. And then all of a sudden you've got a box of beads sitting on a table and you're like, where'd this come from? So I have all this stuff that can be used for the bigger kids that would take more than 1 week to work on a project kind of thing. And unfortunately, at first, it was the only club being offered for 4th through 6th grade. So I had every kid who was going to stay for club signed up for my club, even if they really didn't want to be doing crafting. There were 27 kids signed up. And I kind of flipped out a little bit. I was like, where am I even supposed to have a club for 27 kids? How am I going to fit them in one room? It won't be in any of my rooms. I'd have to use somebody else's. And I was like, how can I even do crafts with 27 kids? Like, we're just going to sit and color. And I was so annoyed because the kids who wanted to craft, I felt really bad for them. It has since been fixed. One of my friends already had a club that day that she had done specifically for 7th and 8th graders. It was Marvel movies, and those are PG-13. So it could only be for the bigger kids. So she changed it to a board game club. And then I had a bunch of kids go from mine to her. So we both now have like 20 kids in the club. But I think I have 18. But it's much more manageable than 27. And those kids now want to be there. So they're really into it. So that is all good. But the day that my principal was like, oh, you've got 27 kids in your club. And I was driving home and I was kind of annoyed. But I was listening to Helen D. I listened to Flosstubes on my way to and from work, kind of like podcasts. And Helen D was showing all these beautiful Halloween and fall pieces. I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to kit one up. Because when I'd been looking through all my Halloween stuff, I looked at my fall bag and I found this in my fall bag, which is, this is Be Thankful from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I won this last year from Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher when she did a giveaway. So thank you, Jessica. And I was like, I think that would be perfect. It's a very pretty little small. I don't have nearly as much fall. I have a ton of fall stuff that I want to do, but then Halloween always overtakes it. So I'm like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do fall. So I happen to have a piece of 40 count milk and sugar. I think that's what it is. That from when I kitted up the Go Tell It on the Mountain set from Annie the Proper Stitcher. There's 3 in that set, but I had 4 pieces of fabric that were cut. So they originally did it on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. So I was like, I'm going to do it on the Milk and Honey. And then I decided to do an entire conversion. So there's the threads, and I went and did an entire color conversion because I knew I didn't have any of those. So that was really fun. And it was very calming to sit and do that when I got home. So I'm not going to do like 1 for 1, but for the oranges, I'm using Fallen Leaves and Sweet Potato. So Fallen Leaves is Classic Colorwork. Sweet Potato, which is my favorite, one of my favorite new flosses now, is from Weeks. That was, they used it, Primrose used it last year, and I just love it because it really is such a gorgeous color. Then for the red, I had this little little teeny tiny piece of cherry cobbler left, and that is just enough. So I thought that would be perfect. Then I have, for the yellows, we have Whiskey, Sassy Brass, which I think is actually Classic Colorwork, or yes, I think it's Classic Colorworks, but I lost the tag, so I just wrote it on a week's one from Onyx that I'd already used up. And then this one's Hazelnut, which is kind of a in-between color, kind of a yellowy tan. Then for the greens, I'm using Pine Needles and Weeping Willow. And then I have Pebble Beach for one of the tan colors, Shaker White, and this is from Simply Shaker Sampler Threads. And I think that is Gentle Arts, but that's an old one. It was in my stash though. I'm like, I'm gonna use it. Trail Dust for one of the browns, Blackbird for the black, because I like that. It's got a really cool black brown undertone to it. And then for the blue, in the picture, you can see she used 522 DMC, which is kind of sea foamy. But I didn't have anything like that in my stash, and I didn't think it would really go. So I used Deep Blue Sea instead to make just a straight up blue. So those are all the colors together. And I thought it really was very fun to just sit and pick all the colors out. So I have a dangling thread. Sorry about that. But this is how much I have done on it so far. And it is really nice. Nice to work on. So that was my like surprise new start, but I love it. And we'll definitely be picking that up every now and then. It's in the pile on I have my stitchy nest in the living room. It's my spot on the sofa. I have a 3-tiered cart and then a tray table, and that's where and then like 4 bags on the floor. So my husband's always like, yeah, your nest is overflowing into my space. Sorry. So one quick thing with having all of my fancy floss out to pull from, I'm just going to move you for a second so you can see. This is how I have my fancy floss displayed right now. So that was a coat hanger that I bought for my house before I knew Phil. And I had kind of like a cottage chic, shabby chic kind of thing going in my living room. And I just loved it. So it was pretty with the swirly stuff. And it didn't really have a good spot here. And then when we took over this room, I used wreath hangers. They've got weird little butterflies on them. You can see those. But that was because they were on clearance. So so now I have it with, I have them organized by dyer. Oops, you're crooked. Sorry. There we go. That's better. So I have them organized by dyer on rings. So that was really nice. And then by color family. So I have more Classic Colorworks than anything else. So I could put those together, like the reds, the oranges, and the yellows, and then the greens and blues and purples. And so that made it nice to be able to pull and do the color conversion. All right. So those were my 2 new things. And then we went to Festive. The 3rd week is Festive. So yes, I could have just gone right into Halloween, but I had some other holiday things that I wanted to be working on as well. Namely, one of them, or part of that, is my 13 for the 250th Sal project for each month. So I'm still, every month doing one of those little ones. I started that with Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher. Hey, Nancy. And so the idea was that every month you could do a little small. And then when the 250th anniversary comes around in July of 26, you've got all these great little smalls to put out, or take a big one, break it into smaller pieces, and work a little bit every month. So, so I do feel it's getting a little tougher to be like, I'm going to get Patriotic right now because there's so much Halloween and fall and Thanksgiving and then into Christmas. So I haven't picked up the big one again, the American sampler from Croquette Go-Go, which I think I have. Do I have? I don't. I do. I have this picture. So I have this one. This is a big one that I decided, oh, I'll do half a page every month and I'll be good. I did half a page in July. So, but I think in January I will pick it up again and really get to it so that, because I just think that's gorgeous. And then the other big piece that I've been working on, and this one, the first week of September, I'm pretty sure that before I worked on Love and Learning, I would like cut a length of floss, whatever, and work a little bit and then go to the other one. Like go, I think some people call it like the 24/7. You work on something for 24 minutes, 7 days a week, and then you get a, like, you know, it kind of chips away at it a little bit. So this is the red, white, and blue sampler from Erin Elizabeth. I just love that house. So pretty. So I did get a little bit of that done, a little more over the course of the month. This is also on 32 parchment. Because I like it. Everything pops on it really, really nicely. All the white shows up. All right, so I have finished the alphabet across the top. I've started to come down further with this border, and I started with the railing to go across the house. So I think there's more done in here, and I've put some flowers in over here so I can fill in like around the bushes that go in the bottom and a little bit more in the roof. So, but I have a plan for Patriotic from here until December to make sure that I am carving out time to work on it every month, or every week a little bit. So I decided that Sundays, when I'm watching football, is going to be my Patriotic stitching time. And I did that the last 2 weeks with my September start. Let me just plop those over there. So in August, I did the Red, White, and True from Chris. Oh, that is upside down. I did the Red, White, and True from Chris the Camping Stitcher. Hey, Chris. She's one of my reading friends, who would get the book jokes from before. So this was so cute. So much fun to work on. So that was the first one that she did. And then she had the Patriotic Pals, which was the companion piece. And that one, where's the picture? Don't want to show you the pattern. Okay, so there's, no wait, that's Red, White, and True. Sorry. Grabbed the wrong sheet. There is Patriotic Pals. So this brings back the little dog and the wagon and the eagle. Very cute. So I worked on that for 2 Sundays. I don't know what in the world happened when I was cutting the fabric. I don't know. Because I clearly did not leave myself enough space. So last week I was working on it and I was like, you know, it's getting a little close to the top there. So I decided just to do the banner across the top and see like where I was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like barely half an inch that I left for myself. And then looking at the bottom, the Celebrate the USA is pretty wide. That little border at the bottom there. So I was like, I'm not even going to attempt it because I don't want to wind up with it being way too close to the bottom and then, you know, having a frog or do something. So my solution, because clearly I'm not going to fit it on here, I'm just going on this piece, I'm going to finish up. I need to do the dog and the fireworks on this side over here. So I will do that tomorrow while I'm watching the Bills beat the Saints. Hopefully. Go Bills. So that's what I'm going to do for that part. And then the Celebrate the USA at the bottom, I'm going to cut another piece of fabric and make a third pillow with the Celebrate the USA on the third pillow. And I'm going to do it like the words one under each other. So instead of a long one, it'll wind up being a rectangle like this way. And I think that way the 3 of them will look nice together because you'll have the first piece, the Red, White, and True will be the big one. This will be the smaller companion piece. And then the Celebrate the USA would be a little one and they can all go together. So that was my problem solving for not knowing how to measure. I have no idea what happened. It wasn't even like it was a remnant piece of fabric. I just absolutely did not cut it right. So that's why when I started on the Be Thankful, I was measured about 4 times to make sure I was going to be able to fit it on there. And it will fit. So that's all good. All right. So that was the first thing I worked on in slowly. That's the first thing I worked on in the festive week. Then, I already have Go Tell It on the Mountain and Over the Hills and Everywhere. I have those done, and they're in their little green velvet frames. So I only have that Jesus Christ is born, or He is born, is what Annie called it. I have this one left. So I worked on that. And a little bit of a start to that one. Oh, and here's the funny thing with working on the 40. I have new glasses. I got new bifocals with a stronger prescription in them. And lo and behold, I can see the 40 count without like having to turn on 5 giant lights that are like pointed straight at my head. So I love that. Who'd have thunk? So a little bit of a start to that. I feel like this one will go quickly because the other ones, the scale of it, like the family and the tree that's going to go over here are bigger because they're like closer to you. The other pieces had like a little house and a whole bunch of trees. So this one has like less motifs in it. So I feel like it's going to go pretty quickly. And I'm super excited for that to be done. So I'll have all 3 of them for Christmas this year. Also during festive week, I picked up Vintage Christmas to work on a little bit. This is from Priscilla and Chelsea. This is a Sal. I already had like everything kitted, and I dyed the fabric last year is when it came out, I think. Or was it 2? Hold on, it's on here. I think it's on here. Hold, please. Oh, I thought they had the date on here. 2023. So 2 years ago. So I dyed the fabric and had it all, and I had all the floss except for the purple for some reason. So when the Sal started to kind of as a way for people to support Priscilla and Chelsea as well during Priscilla's health issues right now, to kind of cheer her up so she can see what people are working on. So I picked this up and did a little bit more in the word up here, and I have a lot of the purple house done. It's not the called for. I used Wisteria, which is Weeks, but that was the purple I had in my stash. For some reason I didn't have Plum Paisley. Could have sworn I did at some point in time, but I have no idea where it is. So I used Wisteria. So the house is a little darker than called for, but you gonna tell on me? Right? Nobody's gonna know. It's fine. I also am using, I'm going to use Clay Pot instead of Blushing Beauty for the pink house because I don't think Blushing Beauty will show up on the pink fabric. So I did a little bit of that one. And then, and I showed you red, white, and blue. So those were my festive things. So this past week was something boo. So it was like, yay, Halloween, fun Halloween. So I worked on, well, first of all, the Luminous Fiber Arts Halloween Quaker has been sitting on my nightstand. So, and I think I started doing that in August, especially when it was so hot, because that's where our air conditioner is. So there would be nights it was super hot, and we were like, we're not sitting downstairs in the heat. We're going to go sit up in the air conditioning and watch TV up there. So I took the Halloween Quaker with me because being one color, very easy to be working on, when you're not in your regular stitchy space. So this is what I have done so far. So this is the whole middle page. And now I've started on to the other, like the next full page. Because this one comes like 2 full pages and like a half a page. I did order 2 new skeins of Witch's Brew because I originally had 3. That was not going to do it. So I I'm into the third skein now. So I have the other two on the way. And then I also ordered their pack of Halloween, I think it's like Halloween Classic or Halloween Traditional, that has some really great Halloween colors in it. And I thought those might be really cool to use for Emily Call's Join Me for a Spell. I thought those, because it's all the right colors. And you know, I might have to add one or two to it, but not a lot. But the oranges and the greens and everything, it's such a cool pack. So that's on its way. Very excited. So that I've been working on a little bit every once in a while when we were sitting upstairs watching TV. So this past week, for Spooky, I've been working on the seed packets from Priscilla and Chelsea. So these came out last year. They are adorable. The first one was Ghost Pepper. Sorry. So there's Ghost Pepper. I just dropped the other ones on the floor. And I'm doing these all on, when they came out, I was like, ooh, I have that sparkly opalescent. You can really see it there with the paper behind it. It's desert sand opalescence, and the glowy part is green. So it was perfect for anything Halloween. And I still have another big piece of it that I'm going to, sure we'll find something for. So that was the first one. I did that one last year. And then the second one I did was the Black Cat Pumpkin seeds, which Priscilla said all of these are actual seed names. Like Ghost Peppers, of course, everybody knows. But Black Cat Pumpkin seeds. Super cute. And I did play a little bit with some of the colors just because of what I had on hand. So the purples. I think the purples are not there. Helpful to show it upside down. The DMC called for. I just used what I had. And then this is the one I worked on this week and finished up. I had really just like the pumpkin and a little bit of the vine started from last year. So there is Candy Corn Vine. And then the fourth one in the set that I started is Broom Corn. And this one, it was the fourth one that came out, and it has the bonus that says Halloween Seed Shop. So I'm going to do that one too. So here's what I did the other night. And so maybe I'll be stitching on this a little bit tonight. Because I'm sure we went disc golfing already today. We got up this morning, went disc golfing. It's a beautiful day out. It's still in the 80s here. We had a couple days that cooled off. We did get some rain, which we needed. I planted mums. My mom had a beautiful garden. And when I moved into my house, my first house here in Buffalo, she brought me mums. And a couple daisies and cornflowers and a couple other things like that. And when we moved to this house, we brought the daisies, the mums, and I think the cornflowers over with us. And the mums were like shrubs. They were huge for years. And then one year, just nothing came up. They were all gone. And I was heartbroken because they were my mom's. And she loved mums in the fall. I still have my daisies, knock on wood. The daisies are also shrubs. And daisies were her favorite. So those are always a delight too. But this year I was like, all right, I'm going to try to plant mums again and see if I can get some to come back every year. So we did that last weekend. So I have orange mums, red mums, and asters. So hopefully and it's early enough in the season for them to take root and then hopefully come back next year. So, but we did get a little bit of rain on them this week, which was great. So, that's about as much gardening as I can do. Wish I could do more. I don't know. Maybe I will when I retire. Future Nancy, retired Nancy down the road somewhere. So, okay. So those were my, seed packets and the Quaker. That was something boo. And that is everything that I worked on this month. Part of the reason I didn't film at the two week mark was because I hadn't worked on hardly anything. It was, I'd worked on Love and Learning and the quilt shop and like Be Thankful. And that was like it. And I was like, that's not very much to show. So then I waited another week to have more to show. And then last weekend we were super busy, like planting mums and doing all those things. So it just didn't happen. And I was like, not going to try to rush home and do it during the school week. It's okay. Just do it on the weekend. So, okay. So I do have plans. We'll do plans. So besides the seed packets, I'm going to finish those up. That's my first priority for the rest of this week, is finishing the broom corn and then doing the seed shop, because I have a really great idea. I've seen other people do this on Priscilla and Chelsea's Facebook page, which is one of the fun things about being on a designer like Primrose, or, you know, Annie has one. Finally, Farm Girls, like, so many people have Facebook groups, and then a lot of Flosstubers have Facebook groups, and you can see how other people finish stuff. So I think somebody did it with the Christmas seed packets, but they put them on little stakes and like had them in like a, you know, not a vase, but like a container that had picks in it, and then they had the stuff stuck in. And I was like, that would be really cute for the seed packets. I have the perfect container. I use it at Christmas, but it's not a problem to just lift out the green styrofoam thing with the Christmas stuff in it and then put the Halloween and just trade them, right? So I want to get those done. And then these are the things in my Halloween bag from last year. Well, I've had this for a while. This was one of the checkout bags at Joann's, RIP. So this is where all of the WIPS are. And then I have another giant bag that says, this is Boo Sheet. That has everything I want to do. Well, not everything. A couple things. But there's some other stuff in there too. So obviously I'm going to sew seed packets and Halloween Quaker. It may even be possible to finish the Quaker by Halloween this year. See, I don't know. But my other projects in here are, this is from Annabella's. 2 years ago this came out, and I loved it. Last year she did a fall one, but the Halloween is, when I saw that, I was like, oh yes, we are going to do that one. So I'm doing it on 32 count Stormy Night, and I'm doing it with the Etoile from DMC. So it has the sparkle to it, and it comes like this. Hold on, it's kind of floofy. Of course, the other floss would stick to it. So it comes like this. So you can see it's kind of puffy. And you can see the sparkle in it. Yeah, there you go. You can see the sparkle. But it's not like the Krynic or the other metallics that it frays a little bit, but it's nothing like the other ones that are so annoying that you, like, half of what you cut frayed. So it's very easy to work with. It's very soft. And it looks pretty cool. So here's my Halloween is so far. And for the white, I am using glow in the dark. So it's just those two colors. So if I finish the Halloween Quaker and I don't finish this one, I think this might become the nightstand stitch and just have it sit on the nightstand, because it's only two colors and easy to pick up and work on. So there's that one. So we'd like to work on that. And then we have, let me find the pictures. I'm not showing. We have Cuori Batacoris, Halloween and cross stitch. And I worked on that a little bit. I didn't work at all on the Halloween is over the course of the year with my Boo weeks. But I did work on this one. And this one doesn't have a ton of colors either. They're very pretty though, what is on here. And I just love her dress. So that's what I have on that one so far. I'm doing it on 28 count tea-dyed Irish linen because it was the only piece of linen I had in the house at the time that was big enough to fit it. So it's going to be enormous. And for that reason, I think I'm going to leave off the Every Witch Loves Halloween and cross stitch at the bottom. There is like two little scrolly things there that are kind of cool. But I think just cutting it off here and not having the writing, I think it'll be fine. Because it's going to be very big, as it is. So I'll roll that up in a minute. So that's another one that I started last year. And then I also have the Stitch Witch from Tiny Modernist. I love all her ladies. I have all of them except for the Tea Goddess. She was the new one that just came out, but she's pretty cool too. So I am switching the color of her skin to the green. So her face is green and her bodice is gray. So there she is. These are actually pretty big. And I didn't have as much done on her as I thought I did. So I will get back to this one for sure. But she's gorgeous. Oh, and I did her hair in the sweet potato with the variegation because you can see like the locks of hair. I thought that would be pretty cool. I think the sweet potato is dead on 920, which is what was, or 921, which is what was called for. And when I picked it up and I started on her hair, I was like, oh, wait a second. I think the sweet potato will do very nicely here. So that I think turned out pretty good. So those are what I'm going to be working on in October, like rest of the last couple days of September and into October, as well as my Patriotic stitch, because I should finish the other ones tomorrow while I'm watching football. So for the Sundays in October, I'm going to work on Patriotic Matilda from Finally a Farm Girl. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, it's like Matilda's wearing her Betsy Ross costume for Halloween. That would be a great Halloween costume. And she's got her little flag there and her little sewing tomato. So, and I thought this one is only like 4x4. So it's small. So October, this will be pretty small. For November, I'm going to do the Primrose Cottage freebie that came out. I have some I'm doing it in bright colors. And I have some beautiful, just grab those real quick. I don't have the pattern in front of me, but everybody's seen it because it was a freebie and it's so pretty. I decided to do it in bright colors. So I'll do bamboo or whatever for the white. But I have Candy Apple and Blue Bonnet from Weeks. And I'm going to do those on the ice blue. So the very pretty blue. And that'll be November because it'll be small. And I'll feel good because I accomplished my goal, my intention for the 13 for the 250th, but it also won't make me feel like, oh, I'm working on this when I should be doing Thanksgiving or something else. Although technically, anything Thanksgiving is also patriotic because we're the only ones who have Thanksgiving. It's an American holiday. So if you do some pilgrims, I would say that's patriotic too. I am fully intending, though, to do a patriotic Santa in December. There are some great ones out there. I just have to go choose one and then get all the stuff for it. But that's what I'm going to do for December. So I've got my tons of Halloween, and who knows what else is going to come my way. Like one of the things I got in haul. I only have a couple of pieces of haul. Although I did order the... Oh, shoot. I'm making a mess. There's everything falling on the floor. I did order the classic or the Color and Cotton floss. So I think that has shipped. If you didn't hear, Cherry Hill Stitchery has closed down. You may still be able to find some of her pieces on other sellers sites, you know, like Annabella's or Primrose are shops, and they might have I don't know if they do, but a shop might still have some Cherry Hill Stitchery, but you can't buy directly from her anymore. She just said that she was ready to start a new chapter, which I wish her very well in. Her she's always been very quick with responding when you, like, she's got great patterns. And when you said, oh, this is really adorable, like, she would respond right away, and it would be personal, not just a heart or something. So I wish her luck. And I am sad to see that she's stopping because she has very, very cute things. So this is what I ordered, and it came in paper. This was not in PDF. She did have it in a kit format too. So maybe you can still find that on a secondary site, not hers, because she is shut down. But this is Ember the Flower Witch. And I thought she was just stinking cute. So, and it's all DMC except for one. Oh no, wait, there's a couple. There's Rainy Day from Classic Colorworks and Carrot and Clockwork from Weeks. And then everything else is some DMC. So I might play with those colors a little bit with what I just ordered. We'll see. Maybe I need to go buy more sweet potato because I seem to use that all the time. And then the other thing I ordered, I got these from Annabella's shop. This one came out for Nashville. This is from Blueberry Ridge, and it's Hazel's Blackberry Burrow, and I thought it was absolutely adorable. I could probably stitch everything Blueberry Ridge does. Hers and her mom, Pansy Patch, love their stuff. Just whimsical, beautiful colors. Love it, love it. So I got this one because for the needlework market at the end of August, she had the companion piece, which is Tommy's pumpkin patch. And I was like, yeah. So I ordered those two things from Annabella's. So thank you, Elaine. Those are really cute. And the only other thing that I got that I wanted to, I mean, I'm sure I've actually probably most of my shopping has been for school. I just gave my principal my receipts and she was like, I have 3 rooms now. So anyway, I got these at Michael's. Look how stinking cute those are. So the pumpkins, the pink sparkly pumpkins, we've got the dark pink berries. And then for the black, there's berries. These aren't really pumpkins. They're just a ball, but they have a couple different facets on them. And then there's also these pretty cool leaves on there. So I was like, think of the possibilities with these. So those are pretty cool. All right. So that's everything I stitched on, everything I'm going to stitch on, all of my haul. And now it's time for books. So I'm going to go grab my iPad so I can show you what I read. Okay, so this is the portion of the program. I watch Pam and Steph, they're adorable. Then where I talk about what I've been reading. Again, not a ton in comparison to other months of the year because of going back to school and just not having as much time. Also, I was kind of stuck on some of the books. Like the first one, I finally finished, and it wasn't awful. And it was also one I couldn't put it down because I had to see what happened. But it wasn't. I didn't love it as much as I liked the first one. So, and I've been reading a lot of fantasy stuff. Although now I've switched to all the fall reads. It's like reading Hallmark movies. But I read Rebel Witch. Sorry, you can see reflections of all sorts of things in there. So this was the second. It was just a duology. The first one was, I think the first one was just Crimson Moth. And then this one was the Rebel Witches #2. So they're in a world where witches were powerful. Then there was a revolution because the big ones in power weren't very nice. They were overthrown, most of them killed. The queens were killed, or so they thought. One of those kind of things. So the second one, so there's a main witch. Her name is, I forgot it. Rune. Her name is Rune. And, so it's basically Rune and this guy who was a witch hunter, and it seemed very Twilight-ish to me because it was kind of like, I love him, but he's going to betray me, but I can't help myself because I love him. And then he would do, then when it was from his point of view, it was the same thing. Like, I can't trust her. She's a witch, but I love her. And then I run back and protect her anyway. So, it was okay. But I did finish it because I was like, I can't not finish it. Then, let me flip through here. Then I switched to fall books, which was very fun. I'm still reading though. I haven't stopped it, but I will go back to it. But the Crescent Moon Tea Room about triplets who are witches, and they tell the fortunes of the people who come to their tea room by reading the tea leaves. They've been cursed and they're trying to break it. So, I also read from school. Oh, because I did do my back to school shopping at Barnes & Noble, where I went into the store, I saw the manager. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm here for my back to school. He's like, I'll get you a cart. And I filled that cart. It was so much fun. So I did pick up a couple really, I had a ton of picture books, obviously, and, stuff for all the different ages. But this is a graphic novel, A Song for Me, for You and I. It's by the same author who did Kay O'Neill, who also did The Moth Keeper, and she did I think it's a she, the Tea Dragon Society. I think that was gorgeous illustrations, just beautiful artwork. So that was a delightful read one day at school because I get to read for a living. So that's always a good thing. And then The Amalfi Curse. This is by Sarah Penner. If you have not read Sarah Penner, go get The Lost Apothecary. That was her first one. She does this really cool thing where, like in Lost Apothecary, there was someone who was in London, and it's apparently a thing in London that when the tide goes out, you go along the banks and people go and search for like the artifacts that are stuck in the mud. And so this woman found a vial, and then it was the connection to the vial, like told the story how the vial wound up being the river basically, and kind of the connection. She was an archaeologist or a historian or something. So she was discovering where it came from, and really awesome. The Amalfi Curse was the same kind of thing. She is an archaeologist, but a marine archaeologist. They're looking for wrecks. And this is off the coast of Italy, where apparently there are witches who I think were supposed to be descended from sirens, and they could control the water. So the one part of their island had really good fishing. It kept away the pirates. So really, really well written. I really like Sarah Penner. She's got a second one is coming out for The Lost Apothecary, and there is another one called the London Seance Society. So that is on my very long TBR. And then, is there anything else that I read? Let me see. Oh, yes. Fall books. So this was the first one. Heather Graham, The Cinnamon Spice Inn. A successful woman working in New York gets an anonymous letter from home that says your father needs help with the inn. And so she goes home. And of course, runs into the love of her life that she left however many years ago when she left him. One of those. Like I said, it's like reading a Hallmark movie. But a spicy Hallmark movie. So be warned. There's a bit of that. And right now I am reading There's Pumpkin About You, which is also like reading a Hallmark movie. The cool thing about this one though is that the male main character is autistic, and has some problems with some of the people in town because he's kind of blunt, and so they see it as being uncaring, but they're not being compassionate about learning about the spectrum. And he's very, he meets this young lady and is very confused about his feelings for her. So, but it's really good. It's really good. So that one's fun. But yeah, my TBR is all orange and yellow, right? Like all the fall covers. There's lots of good stuff there. I'm also reading, it's at school, Catherine Applegate's newest one called Pocket Bear, which is about like the rescue toys, and they're all kind of overseen by a pocket bear, which is during World War II, people would make little bears that were tiny, so the soldiers could put them in their pockets, and the bears were like looking up, so when the soldiers looked down, they would see the little bear's face. And so the little pocket bear is in charge of helping all the little creatures find new homes. So I'm about and there's a cat who is his like right hand. But anything Catherine Applegate writes is spectacular. So she's really, really good. Not one of the Newberry. She's the one who did One and Only Ivan, and that series. So great reader louds. She's got ones for different levels of readers. So she's always a good one to go to. So, alrighty. I was just looking to see if there was something from the Amazon, my giant listo. Because that's one of the cool things on Amazon. you can make your own lists. And so I made one that's called TBR. So it has like lavender and quill, the wood smoke women's book of spells, to fall or not to fall. Firelight and frost, that one looks good. Uncharmed, Tansy's tinctures, the ghost of Mary Hall, the coffee house witch, and the grumpy cat. Definitely want to read that one. So it's nice because I can, and then I made another list that I called red, so I can move them over off the TBR onto the red. Murder at the Market, Pumpkin Spice Spell, Murder at Blackberry Harvest Festival. There's a lot of murder. Mm-hmm. Autumn in Sycamore Park, Autumn Spice on Sunflower Street, Blueberry Hill, Well Oft in Vermont. Most of these are Kindle Unlimited. Oh, yeah, Once Upon a Pumpkin Spice Latte. The Autumn Leaf Bookshop. So we'll see how much I can actually read before then I switch entirely to Christmas books. Oh, by the way, Hallmark, speaking of Hallmark and Christmas and all that, October 17th, it's a bit early, Hallmark, I love you, but that's a bit early. October 17th is when they're doing the kickoff, the countdown to Christmas. And I was an extra in the Bills Christmas movie at the stadium. And they recorded everybody who was there. It was like 2,000 of us, over 2,000, and the stadium then tonight I was there. So they had us yell, "Welcome to Countdown to Christmas." So we're supposed to kick it off. So if you see little old me in my little Bills hat with a big Bills scarf on, because it was freezing cold on Memorial Day weekend and everybody was glad to have their winter stuff on. But then I think the movie premieres November 22nd. So I'm going to have to like have my friends over and have a watch party to see if you could actually see me. I doubt it, but I was there. So, all right, friends. So that's all my stitchy stuff for now. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are stitching whatever makes you happy, reading whatever makes you happy with the people who make you happy. Because there's a lot of stuff going on that's not happy. And so cling to what makes you good, you know? So I hope you have that. And hopefully that you're finding some comfort in Flosstube and the community where we are lifting each other up and supporting each other, because that's as it should be. So I hope to see you next time, hopefully in 2 weeks. Thanks for sticking with me for a whole hour of all my stuff. But I'm going to go decorate for Halloween. Oh, and I might do a Halloween house tour. So be on the lookout for that. But see you soon, and happy stitching.